Convention centres tend to be cold and uninspiring, not exactly playgrounds for artistic expression. But with 6,000 creatives gathered under one roof, heck, even conventions can generate a splash of colour. The host, Adobe, now pushing beyond its desktop roots, firmly into mobile.
Mobile's been a big part of the storyline for a few years now, but really the primary use of mobile has been for content consumption. The opportunity really has been to unlock that potential and make it part of content creation as well.
Our handheld high-def devices are now smart enough to challenge traditional creation tools, which is why I've just shot everything you've seen using a smartphone, a feat inconceivable just a few years ago. And with so many of us shooting so much, it's more important than ever to make sense of it all. Adobe Clip is a mobile version of the desktop editing tool Premiere. It feels a bit bizarre. On the one hand, so sophisticated it gives you fine control over the look of individual clips as well as your final masterpiece. And yet, on the other hand, it feels very basic, lacking many of the intermediate features of its rivals.
When you're working on a device, you want to be able to move really quickly, and it's not really optimized for doing a lot of fine-tuning. So what we've tried to do is really find, the places where we can make the most impact by making the color look beautiful and by doing some really smart stuff to make the audio sound great automatically without sort of forcing you to get super fiddly. If you want to get fiddly, we're all for that, and we've got a perfect NLE on the desktop, Premiere Pro.
And that's the point. Mobile apps are no longer silos for content, but integrate much more deeply into their desktop counterparts.
Until now, you have not been able to work at full resolution on your mobile device. And now, with these new apps, you really can. And you can capture things out in the field, you can edit them quickly in the field and bring them to the desktop, and it's real video, or it's real vectors, or it's real illustration.
Photoshop junkies can finally indulge in wholesale manipulation on the move. Want to replace the sky on your landscape? Easy. Make a selection with your finger, cut it out, drop in a different one, and stretch to fill. All with a few touches and swipes of a finger. But while the digital world seems to have gone touch crazy, there are plenty of artists who crave the more traditional tools like pen and paper. Happily for them, the lines between the analog and digital world are becoming increasingly blurred. Matthew Richmond is an illustrator. Today's styluses are internet connected, optimised for mobile apps, and offer the kind of precision artists like Matthew crave.
When you have this one device that has every type of pen you want and every kind of color you want, there's a whole other level of freedom, is that you're going out into the world, you're seeing things and you want to capture them, and at the same time you're experimenting with mediums and colors and tools that you wouldn't have.
This fusion between the real and virtual worlds is being taken even further with apps which use your camera to turn images of the real world into vectors, scalable line drawings which can be uploaded to the cloud and then edited to your heart's content in other apps. And there are plenty of other tricks to play with in the development pipeline. Here you can add or remove haze to your snaps. And this idea is truly amazing. It's aimed at photographers who haven't managed to capture a scene at quite the right moment. Software can make a stab at how an image would have looked earlier or later in the day. It does this by matching the photo's location against a database of known historic lighting patterns taken at 400 places around the world. So the future's looking bright. But hey, if it's a little too bright, well, we'll always have the option to go back and give it a tweak.